half of my picture is kind of overloaded with all kind of pro tips, like how to do it and how to not do it with HAPS. But basically, HAPS, it broadcasts to all different platforms like Twitter and Periscope, to Facebook and to YouTube. It's so stupid, It's really great for attention seekers, but I don't give a fuck how many people are watching or not. I'm here just for me because I'm working, and I didn't have much to do this morning, so I thought, okay, what is great about my work? Let me share that with you, and that's basically what it's about. So I work for FNV. It's the Federatie Nederlandse Vakbonden. It means actually the Federation of Dutch Unions. Like, there are all kind of unions of hairdressers, unions of bicycle makers, union of car repair people, union of office workers, union of tram drivers and bus drivers and taxi drivers, and unions of air crew, and all these different unions. In Holland, we've kind of conglomerated them into one big union that's called the Federation of Dutch Unions, the FNV. Now, this FNV, it has two parts. It's got actually the part of the union, and it's kind of, it's a communal thing. Everybody pays a little bit, and then you're part of that union. You can use it for, to get a lawyer, or you can use it to help get your tax papers filled in, or you can do it just out of solidarity, because what we do in the union, in the companies, is we make collective agreements with workers and employers, and we're the side of the workers, and the employers, they unionize themselves too in sectors. Like, I work for the taxi sector, and there are thousands of little companies, but there are several bigger ones, and they are all together in a workers' union, an employers' union, and we kind of represent the workers, and they kind of represent the employers, and then we every year get on at the table, and we try to work out, things that could be better. The workers, they want normally a pay rise, because the rent is going up and the electricity is going up and everything, and if your wages stay at the same level, that means that you're earning less every year, and it's necessary to bring that level of your wage up so that it keeps in line with all the costs of living. So that's what we do, but there are all kind of secondary things in a union contract, like how many holidays you get, what you get paid when you're sick. What happens when your boss says all of a sudden, tomorrow you had a day off, but you're working. Those things, they are arranged in the law and in the collective workers agreement, like the collective work agreement is called the CAO, collectieve arbeidsovereenkomst, and these we kind of do in a lot of companies, but also in a lot of sectors. So we are often working hard just to get these round, because if they finish, it's like for a year, if they finish, then there's a problem, because then companies that are not following the collective work agreement, they can go all of a sudden a lot lower with their wage, and then that's actually the reason why workers, they like these agreements, the employers, because this way they don't get competition from the other companies. If you know that you have 100 people working for you and you have to pay them €10 an hour, or €20 an hour, whatever, and your competitor has to pay that same amount, but all of a sudden the competitor can go for 15 or for €8 an hour. €8 is not really allowed, but some do it anyway. Well, what happens is that the company that tries to make a good agreement also for the workers, they kind of lose ground in the sector. That's what happens a lot if you don't make a new contract on time. So that's time is in the essence. Now, what happens when we try to make this agreement and the bosses, they want to, be really cheap about it, and we're not happy, then we go back to our members and we say, okay, guys, this is what the bosses want. We think you should get more, but if you are willing to go on to have an action or go on strike or whatever for this, then we can step up and we can put them under some pressure so they can pay some more or do what we want. But if you guys say, well, we want some more, but we don't want to make the extra step, like we don't want to go on strike, or we don't want to make an action or a statement, or we don't want to work together, then it is for a union representative almost impossible to get a good agreement. I mean, it's very hard. Being together like that, it also kind of makes a union strong, because there are nowadays, it's a trend that you get very weak unions, like unions, call them yellow unions. And these are unions, they're set up by the employer. The employer says, okay, I'm going to start a union, and I just need 2 people out of my company who are going to join, and then I can make an agreement with myself for a very low contract. They're smart. Of course, it doesn't really work, and it's just bending in between the rules to do these kind of things, but they do it. And they can only do it when we, as unions, get weaker and we cannot stand to make a fist. And that's basically why I am always really, I put all my heart in my work, because I believe in this system. I mean, it's not ideal, I know. There's a lot to say against unions, actually. But I haven't found any system that's better. Yeah, what's against the union? I mean, a lot of people join the union, so when their boss kind of cheats them or fires them, they can get a lawyer, and this lawyer will fight for them, go to court, and such a thing, it costs about €1,500. If you have to go to court, it costs a lot of money. And then maybe, the employer has €400 to win. So we set this in anyway, because we don't want these companies to have the idea that they can go really cheap and go, swindle people out of their money. But what happens when one person wins, next day they have to go back to work, and this employer is not really nice to them. Often they'll be saying, listen to the other people, listen, you see what happens if you're a union member and fight against us, and then they get a lousy job, or the roster all of a sudden changes, or other things change, and they don't have a happy life. And that's the thing about unions, that I see that it's necessary. We need to back people if it's necessary, that they don't get swindled. But if we do it collectively, if we can make collectively a statement like, hey, boss, this is not good, and you're going to do this better, and you stand together, that will build up the atmosphere at work. That will make a better atmosphere, and it will make your boss work harder on the outside of the company to earn money, instead of on the inside making everything cheaper. Now, I'm not against things being cheaper. I hate it when these companies, they've got a position and they can ask, like, okay, this glasses, for example, okay, it's broken, I know. Okay, these glasses, they cost €250 at the Pearl. This titanium monture, well, you know what I mean. It costs €270. Now, I need the glasses. I mean, they're good because they see the screen in front of me, and then when I'm holding a book closer, I can read it on the bottom here. But this rimless glasses, these titanium earpieces, they only cost €2.85 on AliExpress. That's the price. I mean, titanium, I think 10% of the whole of the earth consists of titanium, so it's not a rare metal. And yeah, it might be hard to get into this form, but it's not expensive. It's not €270 expensive. And that's when you get companies working together with insurance companies, like they got everything. They bought up all the brands. It's one multinational. It's in Italian multinational, and it's got all these chains of glasses shops. So if you have this monopoly of companies, then they can ask, whatever they want. Well, Microsoft is the same thing, actually. All the companies, they're not addicted to Microsoft, but they're hooked to it. Like, they can't say no. With the Teams and the Excel and the Word and go on. I mean, so the danger of these big companies getting so big that they set some price that you can't really work around. I mean, I bought them for €2.85 because I didn't have €270 to pay. And the shop owner, he fixed them on for me. Very nice. But yeah, so it shouldn't be much too cheap, but it also shouldn't be much too expensive. Prices should be flexible, and we should all be able to earn a little bit of money without getting swindled. That's basically it. And that's union work. Working together to make a good atmosphere, to earn your money, not to get swindled, to have fun, make your work better. So if you want to join the union and you live in Holland, you go to FNV, F for Victor, the N for Nico, and the F for Ferdinand, or for Fargo, or whatever. Vages. Dus FNV. I will write it down. FNV. And then .nl. And you can join. And you write down which sector you're working, and well, somebody will contact you, see how you're doing. Because that's what we do at the union. We care for each other. Anyways, that's a long work-related haps. And now my break is over. I've got a ton of work on my desk.